Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons brand new 2025 Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition canon hardback Dragon Delve. We're specifically going to talk about A Copper for a Song, one of the adventures that's in this anthology. I'm going to tell you what's in that adventure, and then I'm going to tell you what I think of what's in that adventure. All right, so this adventure is it is for 12th level characters, and it features 12th level player characters, and it features a adult copper dragon. Okay, and that adult copper dragon has it has a song in its lair, and that song contains a verse which specifically will revive the soil of a dead land, right? So the player characters need to get this to revive this soil, and so they start on their way to this copper dragon's lair. Now, this should be easy, right? Copper dragons are good aligned. That's very interesting, right? Still a dragon, right? So they head on their way, and the first thing they do is they encounter a group of hill giants. And they either have to fight these hill giants or they have to entertain the hill giants. I thought that was pretty cool. That was, hey, there's two ways to handle this. Dungeons & Dragons has been, very aware of that recently. They're like, oh, combat isn't always the answer, which I think is fine. I think it's great to give different paths to victory. So then when the player characters get to the lair, they find the horde of the dragon before they come across the dragon. And the horde is split into three piles: keep, trade, and dump, right? If the player characters touch anything in the keep or trade pile, then the scales of the dragon that are mixed in with the treasures actually animate and slice the player characters apart as though they were animated daggers. I love this. I thought this was very, adult, dragon. Dragons should be dangerous even when they're not in front of you. Like, being in their lair should be absolutely deadly at every single moment. I thought this was really well executed, and I really like this. Additionally, in this adult copper dragon's lair is a purple worm, right? So one of the things I really loved about this was I thought this was a very good adventure for softening up the player characters and getting them ready. So the hill giants can bang the heck out of them. The purple dragon, the purple worm can bang the heck out of them, dent them, and get them kind of softened up for when they actually face the dragon, which I thought would, make them expend resources, get their hit points lower, all those kind of things. So I thought that was excellent. The other, and here's the other reason why I really like that too. Especially now that you're getting up, once you're dealing with these adult dragons, it is my humble opinion that anytime any player group goes up against any adult dragon, one of those players should die. Period. End of sentence. If you haven't killed one of the player, like if any amount of player characters goes up against an adult dragon, one of those players should die. Period. You should kill them, right? Like, and if you haven't done your job as a dungeon master, in my humble opinion. And so I like that they positioned a player character kill with this adventure. I really, really dug that. All right. So at this point, finally, they get there and they're at a point where they can get to ask, hey, can we, first of all, it's also interesting, like, do player characters know that, metallic dragons are good aligned? We know that as players, but I'm not sure, no player characters ever had a Draconomicon to read, or like that's kind of interesting, right? So even though they get to the point where they should be able to get this this verse from this song that's in the lair of the copper dragon. But as they approach, this copper dragon has taken as its children, adopted children, 2 green wormling dragons, which I thought this was brilliant. I love this. And green dragons are evil, right? But right now they're neutral aligned, and that is Dungeons and Dragons' answer to nature versus nurture, right? Nature, they should still be evil, but because they were nurtured by a good dragon, they're moving toward good. Nurture over nature. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was really, really cool. That there was that philosophical discussion in the middle of this adventure. So and so basically, these wormlings, if the player characters encounter either one of these green wormlings before they encounter the copper, and they even raise a blade to that thing, it's on like Donkey Kong with the copper dragon. Even though it's good, she will kill them, right? Like, and so I thought that was excellent. I thought this was extremely well done. This is one of my favorite adventures in the book. I think this book really got kicking once the adult dragons were there. I don't really think that most of the adventures with the wormling dragons were that useful. I think that I really felt like what they should have done is they should have given away for first level, third level, fifth level characters to kill an adult dragon, right? And you're like, well, how on earth would you do that? Well, you would do it with magic items, right? You would just give them magic items that would put them in a position to actually win, rather than like, oh, we're gonna have a dragon adventure, but we're not gonna we're gonna have a dragon adventure, but we're not going to actually use a real dragon. So I actually thought this was a fantastic adventure. 5 out of 5 stars for me. I really, really liked this adventure. I thought it was extremely well executed. And I would say A Copper Forest Song was one of my favorite adventures in Dragon Delve. I think Before the Storm, I would rank above it. But every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.